Hey guys, and welcome to Petrolped. Now I'm sure many of you know I've been involved in making the TV show Vintage Voltage for the last couple of years, where Moggy and the team at Electric Classic Cars convert classic cars to run on electric power. And in Series 2 we had some phenomenal cars in the lineup. But when I filmed with that car behind me for the first time, Simon, the owner, and I hit it off, and I said, look, as soon as the car's finished and it's been on the telly show, I need to get that on the channel to share with my peddlers because it's a simply stunning, stunning car. So behind me is a Tesla-powered Classic Mini with 300 horsepower. There is much to tell you about with this car, and I am in one of the best filming locations I have ever used for Petrolped. Today should be very special, but before you go any further, make sure you hit that subscribe button because it really helps the channel. But yeah, Electric Mini, oh, bring it on. Now then guys, let me introduce you to Simon, the owner. Mate, you are a legend, and this car has turned out so beautifully.
Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the end result, I have to say. I am pleased, very pleased, yeah.
Now, let's just take a step back in time. You've known this car for a long time. What was it originally? How long have you had it? And why is it now in this amazing state?
Right, well, the car is a 1967. It was an original 850 Austin with 34 brake horsepower, I think.
All of 34? All
of 34 brake horsepower, yeah. And, well, we got the car in 1977, my family that is, and yeah, I learnt to drive in it, etc. And a few years ago, we found it lost at the back of the garage, hidden in plain sight, and I decided it was time to restore it and turn it into the car I always wanted it to be. So realised it was possible to electrify these things and put enormous power into them, yeah. And so spoke to Moggy, yeah. And the rest is history.
So I mean, hopefully you've watched the actual show, the Vintage Voltage show, where we kind of show all the behind the scenes and it being built. But if you haven't done, let's just have a chat about what's in front of us, because this, I mean, it's a Classic Mini, but it's something very special.
It's something a bit different. So
what's under there?
What's under there? Right. Well, under here, we've got a Tesla small drive unit, which comes out of the front of a Model S, basically.
Yeah.
And that has about 300 brake horsepower, its maximum peak. And Moggy and the team very cleverly shoehorned that into the original subframe in the car. And on top of it, we have a battery pack.
Yeah.
Then we have another battery pack inside the car, and we have another battery pack in the boot. So we've got a total of 33 kilowatt hours of batteries in this car, and that gives it a range of about 150 miles if you're driving it sensibly. Which
now I was joking to you, the new Electric Mini only kind of has that sort of range. So we're kind of looking at the same kind of range, but 300 horsepower.
300 horsepower.
So the next thing guys are going to be saying, oh, okay, this thing's going to weigh a ton. But it doesn't.
Doesn't weigh a ton, no. It weighs, well, less than 3/4 of a ton, to be fair. Its original weight would have been about 660 kilos when it rolled off the production line. And we've probably added about 40 to 50 kilos to it in terms of putting a full roll cage in it and having a full interior in it as well. So we're just over 700 kilos, I guess, which is about the same weight as the later Classic Minis that were made in the 90s that had air conditioning. So about the same weight as a later Classic Mini.
And actually, if you compare that with a normal modern day car, they're all kind of 1,500 kilos. A modern day electric car, I mean, some of them are 2,000, 2,500 kilos for the really big ones. So
yeah,
700 kilo car today is unheard of. So this
is like power to weight ratio is, I don't know, was it 400 and something horsepower per ton, I guess? I haven't worked it out actually, but it's got to be something like that.
We're going to find out what that feels like very shortly. The things I love about what you've done to the car, paint colour, please.
Yeah, paint colour. This is original BMC Surf Blue and Old English White, which were standard colours for Coopers in the 60s when this was made.
Yeah, that's a really modern, because that's almost like a kind of Miami blue Porsche colour. It's a beautiful, beautiful colour.
It's a lovely colour actually, and again, it's original colour for the year. So it's it pops, it sings. And really
so one of the things you guys did, so some of the conversions we do on Vintage Voltage is more just the electric conversion itself, but this is a back to nuts and bolts restoration.
Full nut and bolt restoration. So the body shell was in a really bad state. The car has lived all its life basically close to the sea, in a seaside resort essentially, and salt on the roads in the winter had just taken its toll over the years, so we had to extensively repair the bodywork. So it was quite major. A lot of the panels were replaced, but we now have a very strong, almost new body shell, but it is the original bodywork with a lot of new panels on it. We've got the original subframes. This was important to me for the conversion. I wanted the car to behave like an original standard Mini, so I wanted front wheel drive, I wanted the same running gear, I wanted the rubber donuts, exactly as the car would have been when it came off the line. So we've got the original subframe, which has got special bracketry to take the small Tesla drive unit and to also hold the battery pack at the front. We've also kept the rear suspension the same. We put gas shocks on it, adjustable gas shocks, to give it a bit more of a tweak in performance. We've gone for some lightweight components as well on the suspension, but they're original Mini pattern, adjustable suspension, very similar to the FIA historic racing cars essentially. So we've got a very tweakable suspension setup, which you need when you're putting this power through. But the other thing is 10-inch wheels.
I know, it's got 10-inch Mini lights, which are just, when you said to me we're going to put 10-inch, I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I can't think of another car that's got wheels of that size anymore.
That's running that sort of power.
My Mini, modern day Mini, has 19-inch
wheels. This is the thing.
It's got, in fact, the brake discs on my Clubman are probably
bigger
the same
than the
size
wheels.
as that. Yeah,
I'm sure they are. Well, that was one of the issues that we were, concerned about. I really wanted to run it on looking like it was original for the year on the original 10-inch wheels. We went for the biggest brakes we could physically get inside the wheel. You can't get cigarette paper between the inside of the wheel and the edge of the rotor. 4-pot calipers in there, and they're basically racing components we put in for the brakes. So the 4-pot calipers really do pull it up. With the regen braking, you can lock the wheels up because there's no ABS, because this is just like seat of the pants driving basically. So it's raw. It's raw.
Okay, so no ABS.
No.
300 horsepower.
300 horsepower
through the front wheels.
Through the front wheels.
That are 10 inches.
Yeah.
It's got a diff.
It has. It's running a Quaife ATB diff.
Yeah.
So that helps to balance the torque basically. So ECC put the limited slip diff in there, the torque balancing diff.
The same as I've got in my Roadster?
It will be the same.
Similar?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's say, and so that certainly helps to get the power down.
Yeah.
The other thing with the Tesla drive unit is you can program in traction control. Without it, the tyres just smoke and burn, and you're just in blue smoke, as you can imagine. So it's fun, but you don't go very far. You just sit there and just choke. So with the traction control, you've just got the tyres on the cusp of traction, which means you get the maximum amount of acceleration for the minimum amount of tyre burn. So that helps, but you do get a little bit of torque steer. So,
well, I would imagine you probably do.
Yeah.
This has got, so you think about it, this is 700 kilo car, classic Mini shape with a not dissimilar amount of power to the new Mini GP.
Right, yeah.
Which is
you're
nuts,
right,
man, and that's torque steers. So, mate, should we explore some of these runways and this absolutely epic backdrop?
I think it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it, once we're here?
Yeah, right. Not a lot of room in here, is there?
So what I always find whenever I drive or I'm in a classic Mini is you remember just how tiny they are.
They are small. Not a lot of room.
So you've got belts and a belt bar at the back.
Yep.
But you've got seats in the back, so you can run normal inertia reels as well if you want.
Absolutely. So it's got, well, statics. They're not even inertia, because they're really the original sort of style of seat belt, which wasn't inertia in these. But you can run those, and that harness bar comes out the back. So you can just drive it normally, basically, and get 2 passengers in the back seat.
But racing harnesses are cool.
They are cool, yeah. And if you were to be a bit silly with it, it does sort of give you a bit more confidence.
Yeah. And if we're really quiet, sounds like a fish tank.
It does sound like a bubbling fish tank, and that's the little pump circulating the water around the Tesla jacket. That's what that is. So no fan, because it doesn't need a fan.
No.
It only needs air through it when it's moving, when it generates heat.
Come on then.
Okay, let's go.
So on the show,
Yeah.
we obviously filmed, one of the bits we filmed together was the design of the gear shifter,
That's
which you
right.
designed yourself.
I designed and made the gear shifter to go in here. So basically, instead of it being a gear lever, it's just a selector switch.
Yeah.
So I've just pushed it forwards now. So that should mean the Tesla is engaged.
Does F mean forwards, or does it mean...
Yeah, I think it means the latter actually. So that's really where we should be basically. So let me just, and here we go. Here we go.
I've looked forward to this since we did the first when we came, and it was all in bit. It was starting to be refurbished, wasn't it?
That's right. That is it. I mean, you saw it in the very early days when it was just literally a rolling sort of chassis. We just got it together.
So we can go that way, I guess. Can't
Yeah,
we?
we'll go left.
We're just finding our way around this disused airfield. Look at this location.
Whoa. So.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's 60.
So that was 60.
That's safely. That's one of the quickest classic minis I've ever been in.
Is it really?
Well, I've driven a Z-Cars Mini with a Honda Civic Type R engine in the back.
Right,
rear-wheel
okay.
drive. That was pretty quick. But so talking to us about drive modes, because I remember talking to Moggy about this one.
Yeah.
These Tesla units, 300 horsepower, but they produce an awful lot of torque as well, don't they?
They do.
If you didn't do anything to them, you just sit there with the wheels spinning round.
You would. So, if you did nothing, if you had no traction control on it, it literally would be just smoking its wheels. Yeah.
Flip it.
It does go. And this is in street mode, it's not track mode at the moment.
This one up here on the right, look, by the building. So this is in street mode.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Mate, it's not lost any of the mini handling and the lightweight agility. It looks quite torque steery.
It is a bit, so you're fighting with it as you would a race car, really.
That's 70 and it's not even trying.
No, it's not trying.
Wow. So the original car, 35 horsepower, wouldn't do that.
No, didn't go quite like this. I certainly didn't drive it like this on my driving test because I had to learn to drive in this.
You learned to drive in this car.
Drive in this car.
So tell me, so you, it's a family car. It's been in a car in the family a long time. You learned to drive in it.
Yeah.
You realised it needed a bit of TLC and some love, and you decided to do a restoration. So there's going to be some people watching this going, well, why didn't you just restore it with a petrol engine like it would have been originally? What was the thinking behind the...
Well, the thinking behind it was, I didn't have an engine for it anyway because we blew the engine up back in the 90s when the car came off the road. So it already had a second engine at that point. And I'm going to drive a bit slower whilst I'm talking because I can't concentrate with all that talk,
that's
basically.
Good, that's good, because there's deer around here and we don't want to die.
We don't want to die by hitting a deer.
Yeah.
So, decided that I want to do something different with the car. I've lived with this car since I was 11 years old, basically. It's been in my family since 1977. And I thought, if we're going to do something with it, let's see if we can future-proof it for my kids, because I've got 3 girls and they're all of driving age now. And they think minis are quite cute, classic minis. And so if they wanted a car to be able to drive, moving forwards in the future, it's going to be harder and harder keeping petrol engine classic cars running with the fuel changes that we're getting, etc. Plus, they're not particularly technically minded when it comes to sort of mechanical mechanical internal combustion engines, etc. They'd have to go to specialists to get them worked on.
Yep.
So I thought, look, they'd always said, Dad, why don't you get a Tesla? I'm thinking, well, could go and get a Tesla, but why actually don't we convert the little old Mini and actually make that electric now? Because it's all doable. You can do that.
Yeah.
And we can actually put a Tesla motor in the Mini and have an electric car that hopefully will last for another 50 years that they can drive.
And this is not in track mode?
No, it's not in track mode. I'll turn it around and put it in track mode in a minute, see what it's like. So there's the little switch on the dash down here, which I've sort of started to call the brown trousers switch.
Great.
So,
let's do the brown
let's
trousers
do the
switch.
brown trousers switch and see what happens.
Mate.
Yeah, I'll spin around in a
Seriously?
minute. I'm just going to stop and I'm just going to put this switch down and see what happens. So this is the brown trousers switch.
Right. Oh, bit of wheel spin there, dude.
That was wheel spin. Woohoo! That was wheel spin. I backed off a little bit. Just here. So
my brain's going, you're in a classic Mini.
Yeah.
Don't go this fast.
it shouldn't go this fast. It's actually set up quite well. The weight distribution we haven't spoken about actually.
Yeah.
Different to a normal Mini, an ICE Mini. So this is about 55% of weight on the front axle.
Yeah.
And about 45 on the back. So it's pretty evenly balanced, really.
Because
to
there's
be
a
fair.
battery box under the rear seat.
Yeah.
And then one in the boot.
There is. So we've got one behind us under the seat.
Yeah.
No passenger space has been compromised,
No.
basically, with this. So
That's amazing, really.
It is.
And you've
It
got a
is.
bigger boot than you would have done with a Cooper S. did you
Cooper
not?
S had twin tanks, yeah, absolutely right. And it had a spare in it, and we've just got a battery box, which is about the same height as the spare, and no tanks. So we've got a bigger boot.
So here we go. So you've converted a car to electric. You've got no degradation in internal space.
No.
A bigger boot.
Yep.
And you're only 40 kilos heavier than the original car.
Yep.
And that's with a roll cage.
Yep.
And you could have probably
Yeah.
saved a bit more weight if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You bust and miss there, eh? Right then.
Okay,
I'll
then.
take it gently to start with.
Yeah.
Just push that.
Push that forwards.
So when we made that,
Yeah.
when it wasn't in the car, it was really notchy and stiff. That
Yeah.
feels
That feels-
stunning, doesn't it?
That's so smooth now, and you
must
push
be
it
dead chuffed
straight
with that,
forwards,
the fact that
clicks
you
in.
designed that.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I do. It's kind of my day job, doing stuff like that, and then it pulls a bit. Yeah.
All right, okay. So that's about that
That much
travel.
throttle, bang, and it just. So you feel a little bit torque steer there, yeah? Yeah, you get it a bit.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Seriously, because you were driving, I'm thinking, well, that looks quite it doesn't look like a handful at all.
But you have to be ready for it. So you feel it pulling slightly to the near side, to the left. Yeah. So
Mate,
you just,
that is unbelievable.
it's got a lot of torque,
Here we go, I'm going to hold on tight now.
Yeah, okay. Whoa.
Oh, mate! I mean, so anybody who complains about torque steer in a modern car,
Yeah,
they have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, no, this
talking about this.
no, talking about like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I see where you're going. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it does take a bit of getting used to, and in fact, in street mode, it's probably easier to get the hang of it because it's raw power that kicks in when you're in the track mode that it's in. So, but yeah, you felt what it's like now, so you can.
It's witchcraft, I tell thee.
It's witchcraft. It's witchcraft.
Oh, boy. Oh boy.
It does go, doesn't it?
It pulls that way, like
Yeah.
you almost have to kind of lock your right arm onto the steering wheel.
Yeah, you do. Just to get it. Yeah. And then when you back off it, it sort of pulls back because you've got regen braking with it as well.
And it handles so well.
It's not bad, is it? It's the balance of the car. It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, mate.
You like it?
Yeah.
A bit of
This thing
height.
is insane.
It is nuts, isn't it?
Yeah.
You are enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course you are. It's a Mini.
Oh, mate. That's naughty.
It is a bit naughty.
That is utterly ridiculous.
It is.
So that's 60 miles an hour, but because you're in a Mini, it feels like 160 miles an hour.
160.
Wow. Wow.
It is.
Mate,
it goes,
I am
it goes.
jealous as.
So-
I drive many cars on my channel. I'm
Yeah.
very, very lucky when amazing owners like you say, come and film with my car and let me drive it. This,
On a private airfield as
Mate,
well. So
this
there we
is
go. This
awesome.
got the run of it, which is great. There we go. Good. I know you're a Mini man through and through. I love it. I've loved
geez.
these cars all my life. So this is really, for me, it's it's just bringing it up to date. It is bringing it up to date.
now, last thing we need to do with you driving,
Yep.
should we try and do an 0 to 60 test?
Why not? Let's do it. Let's give it a go. Yeah.
So then, you ready to show me what this thing can do 0 to 60?
Let's give it a go, shall we?
Now,
Okay.
I've got my Race Logic V-Box, which the very kind guys from Race Logic sent me. Unfortunately, the little screw that holds it onto the windscreen mount went missing in my camera case. I'm holding it freestanding, which isn't very scientific, but I've set it to 0 to 60.
Okay. Very good.
I've got an external antenna just to make it more accurate. So whenever you're ready,
Let's give it a
3,
go.
2, 1. .08 seconds.
Okay. 6.08.
Yeah.
Should be able to better that, I would have thought.
Stop.
Just dead stop.
We're in brown trouser moment.
Yeah,
Dead
ready,
stop.
steady.
Go. Oh, 6.5.
6.5,
Yeah,
okay.
you had quite a lot of wheel spin there.
There was, you heard it, yeah.
You were warming the tyres up.
Warming the tyres up. So we'll try it coming the other way this time.
3, 2, 1, go. Oh, 5.9!
5.9!
Yay!
Yay!
Right. Let's just. That is smiles per mile, the most ridiculous car, but the most stunning car at the same time. You must be delighted with it.
Yeah, I am chuffed. It's just the grin factor. My face hurts now a bit. Yeah, it's everything I wanted out of a Mini. Really,
Yeah.
It feels like an original Mini, and it's just
It
got the
handles
power.
brilliantly.
Yeah,
You know, the people, electric cars are too heavy, they don't handle. That just, it turns in brilliantly. You don't feel the weight at all because it's not got any extra weight,
hasn't
really.
No.
Those 0 to 60 tests, I'm sure if there was just one person in the car, that's a sub 5.5 seconds. I reckon with the right conditions, you get below 5 seconds.
I reckon you could
Bit of
just
technique,
possibly.
bit of technique.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of practice and may even be a bit of tweaking with the Tesla and the traction control. Might just, but I think we're on the limit of the tyres. So
I've driven a few of Moggy's conversions. I've driven his Beetle.
Yeah.
That's pretty epic at 600 horsepower. I drove the
course.
308 Ferrari.
yeah,
But that's the one I want to take home, mate.
Yeah. Glad you like it.
I've got to
Glad
thank
you
you.
like it.
Massive thank you to share it with these guys is really special. To come to such an amazing venue is pretty up there as well.
Yeah.
It's the coolest venue. But
thank you very much, Pete.
it's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Now, guys, I hope you enjoyed that one. If you have done so, give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrolped for plenty more content to come. Can't promise it's quite as epic as that, but we'll see. Anyway, we'll see you on the next video. Should we go and grab a coffee?
Let's go and grab a coffee. Yeah. Cheers.